two of the candidates, Angus O'Rourke of Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael's Gabrielle McFadden. Thank you both for talking to us on the programme. Perhaps I can come first to you, Gabrielle McFadden. What do you think is going to decide how people vote in this by-election?
Well, I think people are, fed up of the hardships that they've been through, and that's very understandable. People have had a very hard time, but people are seeing that the recovery is coming down. It's in the country already. People are seeing that, and for my mind, people want to see that this is going to come to Longford Westmeath. And I think that if people give me their number one vote on polling day, I will strive to make sure that that recovery hits Longford Westmeath.
Angus O'Rourke, same question to you. What do you think is going to decide it?
Well, there's three decisions to be made by the people, as you know, Brian, here in this constituency: the locals, European, and the by-election. I think what's come across from the doors very much right across the constituency is a feeling of betrayal by this government in terms of the cuts and in terms of the false promises as well. That's certainly a feature of this campaign.
All right, so Gabrielle, are you coming across that?
No, I'm not. People are saying to me that yes, it's very hard, it is very difficult, and there's nobody denying that it's very difficult. Everybody is suffering, and we've suffered for a long time. We've had to do that. We've had successive years of hardship, but now things are improving, and I think people are starting to see that. I've spoken to business people on the hustings, and they've said to me they're almost afraid to admit it, but it is starting to improve.
We know the government is a huge majority. The two by-elections taking place are going to have no effect on the government's capacity to govern. So why should people here be sending another government backbencher up to the door?
Well, I believe very strongly that it's not about being a backbencher or a minister. It's about representing your constituency, and I really want to represent Longford Westmeath. Really excellent work has been done in this constituency by this government, and my late sister was very key in that, and I want to continue that for the people.
Right. Angus O'Rourke, people are suffering. I think we all agree. You've made the same point yourself, but a lot of them will say they're suffering because of gross mismanagement of our economy when Fianna Fáil was in government.
No, Brian, look, people are more realistic than that. The government have been given a chance 3 years ago when they were elected, and voters went in great numbers to elect them, but they feel let down now. There have been so many cuts across the board, and particularly the elderly people. They've seen huge cuts in relation to the five-fold increase in prescription charge. In fairness, also then the telephone charge has been done away with.
All part of the deal with the Troika, which was negotiated by Brian Cowan.
No, not necessarily at all. And jobs as well. In fact, you haven't mentioned jobs, Brian. That's a key area. That's a key area of concern right across the constituency and so many families as well.
There is particular concern here about the barracks in Athlone and a promise from Fianna Fáil to restore the 5th Battalion, I think, here in Athlone. What's your response to that, Gabrielle?
My response is that I was always very against the downgrading of the barracks here in Athlone, and I campaigned at the time against it. It is where it is now, and it's very unfortunate. The Taoiseach, who now has the portfolio for defence, is coming to the constituency on Monday, and he is going to make sure that the people in the barracks realise that there will not be any more cuts. When Fianna Fáil were in power, they didn't have a baseline. They just kept cutting. They closed 10 barracks before in 10 years. One of them was Longford in 2009. And there was no baseline. They had no baseline. When this government came into power, they set a baseline of 9,500 people, and they've kept that.
Angus O'Rourke, I think it was Micheál Martin came here fairly recently and said we'll restore the 5th Battalion and headquarter it here in Athlone. Isn't that just the kind of auction politics which got us into the sort of trouble which we're trying to get out of now?
No, he repeated a commitment given 12 days after this government back in 2012. We got a commitment straight away from Fianna Fáil at that point, when there was no election in sight, to restore the 4th Western Brigade here. It's true to say that the Department of Justice and Defence at the time have left a justice system demoralised, and now also our army personnel, servicemen and women, demoralised. All
right, there we leave it. Angus O'Rourke and Gabrielle, thank you very much indeed for being with us. We'll have a couple more